What's up, you guys? So, today we're going to be talking about Captain America Brave New World, Captain America 4, or The Incredible Hulk 2. So I'm going to, of course, be doing spoiler section, non-spoiler section, overall thoughts. You can find that in the timestamps below, but let's get into it. Before we get into the thoughts, I would like to give some time to show off my new Captain America cup, because I'm going to start giving out, like, popcorn reviews, popcorn bucket reviews, cup reviews, because I like some merchandise sometimes, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of merchandise like 3C Films, unfortunately. I'm not made of money. But I will promote some of these new buckets and cups that are really cool. Unfortunately, Cinemark did not produce really that many good buckets that I found interesting. I did like this cup. It has like the grip of like a basketball. It says Captain America Brave New World, and it has a Captain America shield on it, and it's pretty cool. Like, I like it. That was before I saw the movie, but either way, looks really cool. Getting into my spoiler-free thoughts with this movie has a lot of history behind it, where it came to reshoots, recastings, and a lot of other things with this movie. This movie is basically as if they needed a character besides the Hulk, because unfortunately Disney doesn't own the rights to the Hulk. Universal owns the Hulk, and the Hulk can be only shown in other people's movies, like Thor Ragnarok, the Avenger movies, but not its own movie. So there's that, and they just wanted to make a sequel, but they didn't know how to, so they involved Sam Wilson's Captain America, which kind of sucks, because he had so much potential, and this movie was not it for him. And the only reason it wasn't is because it was an Incredible Hulk movie. This movie just is bland, there's no flavor, and quite frankly, you have a director that really doesn't have that many good films, or any great films for that matter. The writers were very inexperienced, and there's just a lot of stuff, like Seth Rollins was supposed to be in here, then he got replaced by, I think it's John G. Esposito. So I'm so sorry. I'm so butchering his name. The guy who played Gustavo Fring in Breaking Bad, his character was in this. He was supposed to be in Toxic playing like Professor X, Mr. Freeze for DC, and he plays the Sidewinder, and he does a terrible job. No offense to him, it's just like, it's really bad, the writing. I think the marketing for this movie was just really iffy, because like the first trailer was beautiful. It made this movie look like it was Civil War or Winter Soldier, very like spy, espionage type of thing. But then they revealed a lot within this movie, that like Red Hulk and stuff. And even the merchandise for like Cinemark, all Red Hulk, when he's not even the main villain. There's a main villain, and Red Hulk's only in it for like maybe like 10 to 5 minutes, if that. Harrison Ford is obviously playing Thunderbolt Ross, which the original actor died, and he was great. I love the original actor who played Thunderbolt Ross. Harrison Ford in here, he was good, but it didn't feel as much, because of course it's a recast. And then this movie's just like, the action scenes are done terribly, and I honestly think that that's because of the reshoots and the recastings and just all the different rewritings of the script. All the action sequences have a punch that like pans in 8 different filming directions. And what's crazy to me is Captain America Sam Wilson is 46, Anthony Mackie's 46, and Steve Rogers, which Chris Evans, is only 43. So we have an older person playing the new Captain America, who's been around since the Winter Soldier, and he's older, and like, it no offense to him, it's just like, it doesn't look as like, I don't know. I just found that out surprisingly. I think Anthony Mackie's fine, but I was trying to figure it out. I think it's also because Gustavo Fring's character, whenever the actions, sorry, I know his name's not Gustavo Fring, but the Sidewinder, whenever he's on screen fighting Captain America, it's just really bad. I will say the good about this movie, I loved Isaiah's storyline. Isaiah was great. That whole storyline, even though it's just copy and paste kind of what happens in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's more laid out, and there's more heartbreaking sequences within it. And then there's like a fight scene within the sky with like Captain America's wings and stuff, and that was really cool. I like that, and I do like the final fight scene with Red Hulk, even if it looks a little wonky at some points. Because I will admit, there's some sequences in this movie where they say they use practical effects and like real life effects, but it looks fake. It looks like CGI, and that just blows my mind how you can make practical effects look like CGI. There's some sequences that I'm just like, it looks really bad. But Red Hulk looks really cool. It looks like Harrison Ford. But there's just a lot of scenes in this movie that just make no sense or really bad. But without further ado, I'm going to get into my spoiler thoughts. So if you want to see the spoilers, you can. If you want to fast forward to my overall thoughts in the timestamps. I want to get into the bad. I want to get into the good of this movie. The good of this movie, I really like how they use the celestial being island within this movie. It shows us adamantium, I believe it's called, which they kind of just do okay with. That it doesn't give me any goosebumps or excitement. Like the earlier MCU projects, I'm rewatching the MCU right now with my girlfriend because she hasn't seen them. So we just finished Infinity War. But with this adamantium being introduced, I feel like back in the past with the old MCU movies, they would introduce like vibranium Wakanda, and they would be like, it's from Wakanda or something like that.
What dialect?
Wakanda, Wakanda.
And like I was like, oh my god, we're going to Black Panther, we're going to Wakanda. That gave me goosebumps. That was very exciting. Or seeing Winter Soldier as Bucky, very exciting. Seeing the Celestial Island as adamantium, or whatever it is, it's not exciting, and it should be. And it's just to kind of fill in that little loose end that happens with the Eternals Island. And that's the problem with Phase 4 and Phase 5. Phase 5 is ending with the Thunderbolts, but it's all that post-Endgame type of stereotype where there's just so much being crammed into these sections that Marvel, I think, is now realizing is wrong. But this movie tried to like recap that, Winter Soldier, and for some reason the Incredible Hulk, which we're gonna get into. But it just like these movies like from Phase 4 on, post-Endgame, it's just really bad. And this feels like a post-Endgame movie. And we're 7 years after Avengers Infinity War. 6 years after Endgame. And from Iron Man to Infinity War, it was 10 years. So they need to somehow get their beings going for Secret Wars, which they do in this post-credit scene, which we will very much get into. And then it's kind of some of the comedy within this movie. It was funny, but I don't know. Like, they were trying to be a very spy, espionage type of film, but then you're going to have comedy in here, which Captain America and the Winter Soldier definitely did. But then here's another thing. They wanted it to be serious. They wanted it to be that spy thriller because they got rid of the MCU logo. They got rid of the classic MCU logo, which made me angry. I should have known this movie was bad the minute Soup said that this movie, when he thanks the production team.
So guys, today, you guys already see the title of the video, today we are here to talk about Captain America: Brave New World. Before I talk about this movie, I really want to thank the filmmakers and the people.
And the minute that I didn't see that MCU logo, because we have had that classic MCU logo since all the way back in Doctor Strange, and they've had it since then. They even had a Marvel Studios logo before that, but they had that iconic theme. That's what makes a Marvel movie. When I go see a Marvel movie, I like to hear that theme song. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. It's part of the excitement. Not seeing that doesn't make me amped up for the movie, so I was very disappointed with that. And then they want it to be serious, which I can respect, but then you have Captain America cursing, or he's cursing and everything, which is Sam Wilson, so I'm fine with, but it just doesn't feel like Captain America. It doesn't feel serious. It feels like they're joking around. And, like, I don't know. Then why not have that classic MCU thing? And they said that they wanted to make it feel like Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier had that MCU theme. Winter Soldier had that MCU intro. That little stuff like that can really make an impact on movie experience, and it failed to deliver. Getting back to the good things, Isaiah's storyline, I really liked it, even though it was, again, just recapping everything from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Basically, Isaiah was supposed to be the original Captain America. He was a black man, and he wasn't able to. He was in prison. He was locked up after fighting his country and stuff like that. And my heart broke when he said, I can't go back to jail, and he's crying. Very sad, very heartbreaking scene, but he gets, like, kind of possessed by the villain, the leader, which we'll talk about, but basically the screenslaver from Incredibles 2, which was interesting to see because it's just the screenslaver from Incredibles 2, but that's all he does. Like, he gets the phone, it flashes, it sings a song, and then he's hypnotized. Disney just copying their old movies, because that's what Pixar did in Incredibles 2. Alright, so one thing I will say about the leader, everyone's targeting him for his looks and his appearance not being comic accurate and stuff. These are the same people that said MODOK was done dirty. This is MODOK. That is MODOK in the comics. This looks exactly the same as it does in Quantumania, and I loved it. That's why I'm a big defender on Ant-Man Quantumania. You can say Ant-Man Quantumania is bad. You can say, what other movies are bad? Multiverse of Madness is bad. You can say a lot of movies are bad, and I will think that they're good. I think a lot of movies that people think are bad are good. Same with the TV shows. But then there's this, and I'm just like, it's bad. Because everyone's clowning on the look of the leader. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's bad. He just looks like a walking zombie. That's what I see all the time. Whenever he was on screen, I was like, oh my god, it's like a Frankenstein zombie. Because like then there was the chair, and I was like, what are we, in the new Universal's Epic Universe park? Like, I feel like I'm seeing like Frankenstein and a zombie like walking out controlling people's brains. I still think that MODOK was one of the coolest live action comic accurate things. Because then you have people saying like, oh, but at least it's comic accurate, and it's bad, but it's comic accurate, so that's cool. This is bad, and it's not even comic accurate, so it's just really bad. But, I don't know, I'm not really stressing about it. It didn't really bother me too much. It more bothered me on his plans. So now getting into the bad things. The leader's plans were basically to, like, it was so stupid. He's one of the smartest characters, and his actor played him so well. Like, he was so menacing, he talked very low and deep, and very serious, and very scary. Like, I was very intimidated, but his plan was to basically make Thunderbolt Ross come off as a bad guy, making Japan and the USA fight against each other. All because ever since he was affected by gamma radiation in the Incredible Hulk movie, he's been locked up to make weapons and stuff for Thunderbolt Ross. And then he just was like willing to sacrifice himself to go to prison for the rest of his life, which he didn't want to do in the first place, to show the world Red Hulk. And then, getting into the post-credit, he all of a sudden knows the whole multiverse, because he tells Samuel, said, hey, you better be prepared for when all the other worlds come after us. That is one of the most stupidest post-credit scenes. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, that's actually really cool. We're getting Secret Wars. I was very excited. Thinking about it, this man just wanted the world to know that Thunderbolt Ross was a bad person. And then he's gonna warn Sam, going like, oh, by the way, we're all gonna die in Secret Wars. What was the point then? Why not just try to prevent Secret Wars? Why not tell someone about Secret Wars? If you know about Secret Wars, if you know about all the other worlds, why not concern that? Why are you going to go try to get the president to be bad? I just don't understand that. Like, like Kevin Feige needs to know, I love a good post-credit scene, but then, like, I rather a post-credit scene that's stupid, like Multiverse of Madness, or you know what? Actually, no. I take that back. If there's nothing to tease, put nothing in there. That, I hated the post-credit scene for Multiverse of Madness. That was one of the worst ones. Like when he goes like, it's over. I hated that. I hated that. A little tease at something like Thanos getting the gauntlet and saying, all right, I'll do it myself. One of the best post-credit scenes of all time. Then you got this, and it's just like, the whole movie you were trying to solve a problem on Earth, now you're saying Earth's not going to be a thing? And then we got a cameo, 2 cameos actually. The first cameo, it wasn't that bad. It was Bucky, which we all knew, and then Bucky for some reason is a Congress person, and in this universe, he kills John F. Kennedy. So that makes sense. Then we got a post-credit scene that was so stupid. It was, I think her name's Betty or Becky, I don't know. Thunderbolt Ross kept repeating it over and over again, and she comes out of nowhere, which is Bruce Banner's ex-girlfriend. Not Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, Edward Norton from 2008. Why? You got her, you got Thunderbolt Ross, Red Hulk, finally Red Hulk, and then you got the leader, who was all teased in the Incredible Hulk in 2008. And now we got, what? How many years is that later? Like 18 years, 17 years, something like that later. and we got this. So yeah, guys, these are my overall thoughts right here. This movie's just, it's bad. I'm not gonna defend the MCU. The MCU post Endgame, it's just, there is always these type of movies. Oh, overall, sorry, 41 out of 100. There was always these types of movies when it comes to like Thor 2, The Incredible Hulk 1. You had all these movies that were just kind of like, all right, you're okay. But then you had movies that were amazing, top tier level movies. Now you got movies that are just like, they're like these types of movies, but those are the best of the best, like out of everything. And like, you know what sucks even more is people are going to say that there's only a few MCU movies now, there's not a lot. Yeah, that's true. That is very much true. But then you gotta think there's the MCU shows. You got Echo, Secret Invasion, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel that are all just like either really bad or just okay. Then you got like Hawkeye, which is very forgettable. What If, forgettable. Moon Knight, WandaVision, Loki, all great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, for me, that's like okay. But like, you got all these shows that are really either bad, pointless. Like The Marvels was really bad. That was a bad movie for Disney. Black Widow was just okay. Eternals was good, but it was just okay. Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, okay. Bad. This is bad. And it just sucks that okay movies are all we're getting to now. Because in the past, like, we would have like an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 for Marvel movies. Now, the best Marvel movie is going to be like an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, or 6. The 6 is the standard now, which sucks because back in the past, like an 8 was a standard. You would have like an 8, you would be like, okay, that's a good Marvel movie. Now you go out and you're like, okay, a good Marvel movie is a 6, and this is classified as bad. It just sucks, and hopefully Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four deliver, because if they don't, I don't know what I'm going to do with the MCU anymore. Probably after Secret Wars, if it just keeps going down this route, I'm going to transfer over to DC. I'm a big DC guy anyway, but I'm hoping James Gunn can cook with Superman or something, because I need to feel something again with watching these movies, because this movie just, I felt nothing. That is everything. This is the third worst MCU movie on my list. Underneath is Thor 2, and I got The Incredible Hulk 1. I'm not a big fan of Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk, I'm sorry. But yeah, with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that being said, thanks for watching. See you out. Peace.